Hey, I'm Jeff, and I make music with my brother.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, and I also make music with my brother.
Together, we are Ekko and Sidetrack, and we make music that sounds like this.
And this.
And even this. This podcast is about music, creativity, and everything in between.
Welcome to A Band Apart with Ekko and Sidetrack. Today's podcast is brought to you by our friends at Short Order Burger. When I want a burger, I want it quickly. I don't want to be the guy standing in line getting hangry with a bunch of other hangry people. So I'm going to download the new Short Order ordering app and use it to order and skip the line when I pick up my order today. It's straightforward to use, and by becoming a member, you can actually earn points for every purchase. For every $1 you spend, you'll earn 10 points, which can be used for special offers or in-app credit. And if you're getting weekly burgers, my friends, that could be quite a lucrative amount of points. Go download it in the App Store today and take advantage of it. And as always, don't forget to say the code word Ekko and Sidetrack at checkout in store for 10% off your order. Big up.
His name is Twerl, and we have him on a podcast, and he has news.
He's on his fucking phone.
Holy fuck.
Welcome to the podcast.
What an intro.
What did you just say about Japan?
The earthquake?
You're our news correspondent. You might have to speak a bit closer to the mic.
Yeah, the earthquake. I don't really watch the news. I don't watch TV, but I have a few friends in Japan. I mean, I see like videos pop up and stuff online, but I just can't sit there and be involved in all that fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's too much.
A lot of it, yeah, exactly. It's just too much. I prefer to live my own world. But I saw my friend Alan Mock.
Oh yeah.
Remember Alan from Japan? Yeah. His status, because he was just like distraught kind of status.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tweet talking about it, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I went to my parents' house because they're in Rochester, and I'm looking after the dogs, and I saw on the news just the building shaking, and it's insane.
It was a big one as well, like over 7, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Like in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Just not far from, they reckon the epicenter might not be far from Fukushima. But I don't know whether the tidal wave now, they're on alert or something, but...
Yeah, there's going to be like tremors in the next few days or something.
How many
said.
are they must still be cleaning up after the last tidal wave,
How
right?
long ago was it?
2012, 11ish.
It was bad, right?
You definitely can't go there. That's not a place you go.
No, but you can't
And it's very unstable.
it doesn't just it takes a long time to fix that. Right? And to clean up all that.
I don't actually know too much about how bad was that. I don't know too
Really
much
bad.
about it. Really bad, like Thailand, bad.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, like the video is it completely wipes out towns.
And also,
I've only seen the videos of the Thailand one. I never saw
Man,
that.
the Japanese one's mental.
a tidal wave would be, not very good at all.
I've thought about it a lot, like just driving, and then just you look at the ocean, and you're like, imagine if a tidal wave just came through and just wiped it.
And
all
it
would be
out.
so
And it doesn't even have to
fucking
be
shit.
like a big wave. It's the surge. It
Right.
just keeps coming. It's and all of a sudden you've just got water everywhere. Well, strange way to start a podcast, but we have a guest. It's Jaden. His name is Twerl. Before we get started, can you give us all your socials and stuff like that?
Just at Twerl Beats on everything. Made it nice and simple.
Twerl Beats, TWERL.
That's a good get.
12 Beats.
That's a
Good get with the social media.
yeah. Yeah.
Jaden is a music producer and entrepreneur. And have you ever been called an entrepreneur?
First time. I like it.
But you are, though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And you're a very interesting boy, so we thought we'd have you on the podcast.
And we have recently done a tune with Jaden.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But for a little bit of background, what is your story? Who are you?
Who am I? So I guess start with a musical journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Start where you want to start.
I guess it all started when it started with DJing. My older brother was like a trance DJ back in the day.
Sick.
And then he got me into it when I was like 14, 15.
How old's your brother?
He's 10 years older. So there's a bit of a gap, the eldest to me. And yeah, so he got me into it quite young. And then like, I just remember jumping Creamfields when I was like 15, seeing Skrillex and Deadmau5. And then I was like, yeah, I want to do this. This is fucking cool. And then from then, started messing around like on FL, and it was just never any good. Then I decided to take a leap and went to SAE. I thought that would solve my problems of being a shit producer, and it didn't. It just frustrated me because they taught me about live sound when it's not what I wanted to learn.
Shout out to SAE.
Fuck those guys. And what it did teach me about Ableton, I already knew. So it was a massive waste of time, but it kept me in a good headspace to learn and like better myself. And then from then, started releasing stuff on SoundCloud, remixes and stuff. That started to get a bit of traction, and people playing stuff out like Oregon, Alice in Wonderland and stuff like that. And that led to touring, led to some labels picking my stuff up, and then just kind of progressed until, I guess where it's at now. I also run a online music school called the Forbidden Society. We do just like master classes from like big electronic acts and give away project files and stuff like that, and just trying to build that community up. So I'm about 7 months in with that. And that's kind of what takes up my time. And that's my story.
And that's where the entrepreneurship comes in.
Absolutely. Yeah, you built a school, essentially. If this was 1950, you'd have built a school and there'd be like kids attending and shit like that. You'd be like standing outside cutting a ribbon and stuff like that. Come learn. And like Leotrix is there wearing a suit teaching the kids.
You're like Professor X and the X-Men.
Essentially.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I'm going to refer to you as Professor X for the rest of the podcast.
I'll take that.
And we met Jaden probably
Shape days.
At Switch, yeah.
I dropped out of school when I was 16.
To go to nightclubs.
I dropped out to do an electrical apprenticeship. So that's what I was doing for 2 years, and I fucking hated every day of it. It's miserable. Like every day waking up miserable. I was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. And then I dropped that to go to SAE.
Okay.
And then I just kind of went all in.
Sick. I think you might have to talk slightly
A bit closer.
to the mic.
Yeah.
Just check his level, John. I'm just wondering. I fear there's a bit of the room noise.
I feel like I'm kind of quiet and muffled again. I don't know. Maybe it's this mic though.
I think fine. Everything's hot. It doesn't matter. Who cares? We're having fun. We're on a podcast.
So,
So, how long did you go as a electrical?
I was in my second year and I dropped it. Parents obviously thought that was a dumb idea. Did you just turn me down? Was I too loud?
I thought I turned Jeff down.
No, it was...
It's a professional operation here at the Ekko and Sidetrack podcast. There we are.
Parents thought it was a terrible idea, as you would if you're a parent. Oh, your son wants to drop his apprenticeship, which is a guaranteed job to be a musician. What a fantastic idea that is.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You showed them.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. He's like, if you ever make any money off music, I'll shake your hand. And, yeah.
Were your parents supportive along the way, as much as they can go like, this seems like a risky move? As they saw you become successful, they're like, okay, this is cool.
They were, the reason they said that at first is because they didn't want to make a stupid decision, because 99% of the time you try to be a musician, drop your job, you're probably going to fail.
Yeah.
Especially when you're 18, you're like, I'm going to do this. Like, are you? Because
you might do it for fucking 2 months and quit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they were supportive, and they still are now. So
that's awesome.
It would have made it a lot harder if they weren't.
I think as well, like once you get wanting to be a musician or any artist to your parents is so foreign and like, don't do that. But as soon as you get some success and you can show them something that's tangible,
right?
They suddenly go, oh, okay, no, what the time he spends in his room, it does make sense, and what he's doing is good. Okay,
it's risky though, man. Like, imagine having a child and them going, I want to take this risk. And you going, oh, that's a dangerous risk. And often, unless your parents are creatives themselves, that's like an unknown realm.
That's what I was going to say. Like, unless your parents are creatives, then they're not going to get it. And you kind of have to prove them wrong, in a sense. Unless you just have those parents who are like, do whatever the fuck you want. I want you to try things. But I think that's how greatness is born. So I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm saying that's how, it's like, for example, Elon Musk or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People pushing boundaries and trying new things isn't going to happen unless you have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
And also,
to
like,
take those risks in the
Exactly.
first place.
the ability
Yeah.
to try. Like,
Yeah.
we're just talking upstairs about derivative music. Derivative music is fucking boring. It just sounds the fucking same. Like, yeah, cool. It sounds like, if I can say it sounds like this song and then it sounds like that song, and it's not like a compliment, if I'm like just trying to put it in a box, then like, congratulations, you made a great rip-off. You made a great copy. You made a 7 out of 10 copy that everyone will forget after 2 years or 2 months.
I'm just thinking about the song.
I'm thinking about the song as well. Fuck that song.
Wait. Still on your mind.
It's still on my mind. Yeah, it bugs me. But, and not to go on a tirade, but like, I reckon sometimes you've got to work on a derivative. You've got to make something derivative and then throw it out the window. Because it's like, that's a safe, well-trodden path. And then you've got to go like, "Wah!" And then you're going to come up with something more exciting.
Well, yeah, not unlike Jaden's choice to do a Sparky apprenticeship and then be like, you know what, fuck this. It's not for me. I want to do something completely different. That's what it's like to write a shit derivative tune that we might be writing currently. We have to go through that tunnel to then go, well, it's actually shit like we thought. Now we can do something different.
You can also take it in a different direction. Like, for example, I'll recreate, which is essentially the same thing. I'll recreate songs that I like.
Absolutely.
And then I'll go from there and I'll turn it into a completely different tune. Like that song that I was showing you guys earlier, that started as a recreation of something I'd heard, and then that completely changed into another song. So that might happen with the tune you're working on now. You might completely take that in another direction. It might have started as this derivative thing, but
I think for me, it's just a little bit of frustration because it is a remix. There seems to be this like, you don't want to spend too much time doing a remix, in my mind, especially we've got other stuff to work on. We want to do a remix, you want to make it the best possible tune, but nothing has caught my ear recently with the way we're working on this song. So it just means we have to spend some actual time on it. And I just got frustrated upstairs.
right.
And that's the end of the podcast. Goodbye, I'm leaving. A song that isn't derivative and not shit is Under Bright Lights by Twerl and
true.
Ekko and Sidetrack. It's a collaborative adventure that came about. You're looking at me strangely.
No, I'm just looking at you.
Can I tell my perspective
Sure.
from how the song started? And then you can tell us how you started the song, because you showed me the
Right.
song, or you showed Jono the song? And we're
I don't
like,
know who I was talking to. I never do when I'm messaging you guys on Instagram.
It's 90% Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was you.
Yeah, it must have been.
And maybe I was like, this sounds sick. We should do a tune together.
That was, I think it was originally, I had it up as a story. And then you replied to the story. And then I said, we need to work on something. I think you were like, are you saying you want to work on this? And I was like, yeah, we could work on this.
It's very like flirty almost.
No, you hang
Picking up what I'm putting down. And yeah, it was actually like a 150 tune at the time. And then I remember speeding up to see what it would sound like. And then it just changed drastically. We met up for a session, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or did you guys work on it before we met up? Or
No, I think we.
Jono was still in the UK. At the
yeah,
time.
you were still in the UK.
Because Jono, maybe you worked on it a little bit. And
Oh yeah, because remember I worked on it at Seb's wearing a sub pack, and there was like I made like quite a trancey. Remember it was like trancey, and I was
Wasn't
trying
that
to
the
sell.
other tune we worked on because we were messing around with something before that random Chrome song. Do you remember that? I think that was the tune that was like.
because there was a trance element, but there used to be a trancey, like, cool ARP. I swear it's still way off to the right of the project. And like every now and again, I just like drag it back and like, damn, it
There
doesn't
was,
work.
Because I think it was like, because I remember getting the project file. You guys worked on it. You sent me the project file.
No, that's right,
I
yeah.
worked on it wearing a sub pack for the first time.
All right, cool.
You do not feel cool when you wear them.
Really? Oh, you had when you actually put on the C one?
Strap. It was like strapping into a fucking roller coaster of some kind. But I worked on it at Seb's house. It was trancy. Then sent it back. You guys worked on it more, and then I think I came back
Yeah,
from the UK, and then we all started working on it.
yeah. Had
And-
a couple of sessions like that.
And that's when it kind of started to change.
Well, we changed. I remember. I think it was before you got back. We were having real trouble getting that trancey lead to sit. It just wasn't working. And then turn that off, and then we tried the tidal wave kind of lead.
Yeah.
That was just... I remember doing that upstairs. It was like a quick saw, just random melody, and then that seemed to stick.
Yeah.
That worked for a while.
It worked for a while. We thought that was it. And that's
Yeah.
what we got Indy to sing on. It was that one.
Yeah.
And then we changed it.
Yeah.
And then you did that new lead.
Yeah.
And then that was the one that stuck. So we've been through a lot of versions.
Oh, man.
Well, because we've got a version, the version that we played at Dimension in...
July?
No, not July, like
Oh, no, yeah, I remember that one in Metro City.
August. Yeah, July.
That was the old version.
3 days
right?
later, Jeff, come on. That was the old
Yeah,
lead. That was
right.
the tidal wavy.
Yeah.
Just kept climbing up the scale.
Yeah.
And then
There was another lead before that we were all like, kind of, this is a vibe, and then we came back in, and then we were like, nah, this isn't a vibe anymore.
We hated it.
What I think is funny is because you turned up with the original project. It was so neat. So it was like 15 tracks, and you're like, yeah, like, I don't know, just like let's take it to 174, see what we can do. And I was like, all right. And before we knew it, we had like fucking 50 tracks going. I'm like routing things, and you're like, just stop. What are you doing? I'm like, this is just how we work. And it became chaotic very quickly.
Yeah, it's I'll work like that. The reason it was so clean is because I
Probably had nearly finished this.
No, I mean, I originally made the first idea was at the end of my course.
Yeah.
I did a like Ableton Fundamentals course for my platform, and that's like from start to finish, you'll be able to make songs in like a few weeks kind of thing without having used Ableton before. And the last segment of the course is a track from scratch. So I create a song, I have the camera rolling for 2 hours, and I'll create a track, see what happens kind of thing. And that was what it was. So
That's right.
I had to clean that project up for it to look nice and neat, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even end up giving the project file away. I kept that because we ended up working on the tune. I was going to give that away in the thing.
I was going to say, basically, we've released the demo song you
Right.
get with
Yeah.
Forbidden Society.
No, so I didn't end up releasing the project file, but that's why it was so neat. I work pretty chaotic as well. You should see some of mine.
But no, that made me definitely feel better as we started writing the song. I remember you were like chopping up this like vocal, and you were like, and I was like, oh, I have no idea. And you're like resampling heaps of stuff. And I was like, good. He makes a mess just like all of us.
Yeah. It's just when it gets to the mixing point, and if my projects are a mess, I can't mentally process what's going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that one I showed you guys before, I had to bounce that to another project. That's how chaotic it was. I had to bounce stems. I couldn't mix it in the project.
It's so helpful to bounce to stems though, because we were explaining this to someone just last night. Once you bounce a sound, you get rid of all the processing that you've done, so you don't think you've done work.
Right.
It's like you just get it down to audio and you go like, I can do more processing. I can turn that up. It's
100%.
like, yeah.
And as soon as you see less things on your chain, you're more likely to be like, I can just distort that by about
true.
1 million and push sounds, and that's when you actually start understanding how much you can fuck with things.
I A-B'd that one I showed you again. Like, I listened to the old version of that before I bounced it to stems, and it's like, I gave it an extra 30%.
Yeah.
That's
great.
a massive difference. Like, it is just a completely different song.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It makes a huge difference.
I'm going to start doing it more often.
Yeah.
We started flattening more
Yeah.
in Ableton.
Right.
Freezing and
It's
flattening.
essentially the same, I guess. Yeah.
And just seeing audio and being like, actually, that sounds not fat.
I think it helps with
tiny.
commitment as well. Commitment to sound. It's like, this is what kind of a song this is. Like, part of the problem, not to bring it back to the song we were talking about just before, but is that like there is a lot of non-committal in it. It's like it's still so this, in the infancy of any piece of art.
Yeah.
It's like it could be anything. It's like it's exciting, but there is a certain amount of like, fuck it, it just needs to be this thing. And we had decided that it needed to be a thing, but then I was like, that thing seems quite boring.
And once you kind of execute it in a simple way and it doesn't work, you do have to go back and go, okay, now it can't be what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think remixes are also difficult because you are working in a framework of the original songwriting. And so you feel like you can't alter it that much.
But I think you should. Because I think there's two kinds of remixes. There's the ones that kind of like does what you'd expect and then like takes like 5% and like moves it a bit. And then there's ones that you're like, oh, I was not expecting that.
Right. I've copped to some shit because I used to do like flips in the early days of the project. I thought that was quite a good way to gain traction. Like you guys have had some success with your flips as well, like for example, the Flu one.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get new fans and for people to play your shit out. And I had that kind of success with my early ones, but I would get a lot of shit because it was so different from the original. Like people would, I fucking hate going on Reddit, but I'd get torn to shreds on R-Trap for people just going like, oh, this guy's literally just already had a drop, copied and pasted just like a portion of the song and just done that for clout. It's definitely not what happened, but that's what people think. So it's tough like taking it in a completely different direction, but I feel like that's what some remixes need.
I think you need to still, I guess it's that perfect balance of the original and the remix, because we've done that with other remixes previously, and then you just start writing a tune and you turn off their parts and you're like, actually, this is just a better original. So we're going to
just pitch this down by 3 semitones. We've got ourselves an original banger.
I've done that
save
before
this
as
for
well.
us.
I actually, it happened once with this song called Stay that I did years ago. It was one of the better performing originals I've had. And that was like a Kodak black flip that I did, and it got flagged for copyright and got taken down. And then I was like, okay, we'll turn it into original, and it just ended up doing like really fucking good as an original. Yeah. But I've had it before as well, where I've just turned off their parts and I'm like, I'm keeping this.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's hard to then go back and be like, oh, I've got to just redo the original again.
I just give up on it. I'm like, no, it's just an original now.
Yeah, I suppose the the thing is when you get a remix deadline for the listener, you often get offered a remix and you get a deadline and then you get the parts, so like the bits of audio, and then it's up to you to do something with them, like literally remix them.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'll try ideas and sometimes they work, and what we're saying is that you turn off the parts you were given, and then all of a sudden you've got an original tune and you take that for yourself, but then you're still stuck with the idea that's like, I still haven't done a remix, which is, yes.
Which is a hard thing.
It's a tough thing to be part of.
I haven't done a remix in a while.
Well, Jaden, perhaps we can get you to remix one of our songs when we finish some more for our forthcoming musical adventure.
I'm down.
So you have, as well as making music, you've also started pushing into the new realm of NFTs and Web3 stuff.
Yes.
And we were talking a bit before the podcast, but it'd be really cool if you could explain kind of what you've been up to and some of that stuff. I mean, you could start with what an NFT is. If you've got a good one-liner of what an NFT is.
It's digital ownership of an item. So like people think it's stupid, but a good example is like, have you ever bought anything inside of a video game? It's like you played Call of Duty, for example, and you bought a gun pack. That's an NFT, except you don't own it. You're giving these companies money for something, but you don't own it. So, for example, you could go and buy a digital photo of something, and you have ownership over that, and you can do whatever you want, and you can resell it for more money. Is essentially what it is. Like people buying Bored Apes and all these things, like it's essentially like flexing having a Ferrari or a Rolex. It's digital ownership. We're moving into this whole metaverse thing. Like, how are you going to flex that you're rich in the metaverse? Is by having something like a Bored Ape or something that is like the Rolex or the Lambo of that world. Yeah, that's an example. But when it comes to music NFTs, it's a really interesting time for artists because we have the ability to put one of our songs as an NFT. So essentially, it would just be like as it was uploaded on SoundCloud. It will have the artwork and the song, and a collector can come and buy that. So for example, they can buy it for like $1,000, and then they like own that. So they don't actually own the song, but they have like bragging rights to it, and then they can then resell it. That's essentially what's going on. So
they own the song. Do they have the ability to put the song on Spotify or?
So that's up to you. So no is the short answer, but you can put whatever terms you want to in the smart contract. So you can say there, you get ownership or you get a 50% royalty cut from my song when I put it on DSPs, like Spotify and whatnot. Or for example, with mine, I give away like passes to my Forbidden Society, or they can gift it to a friend, which is like $1,000 worth of value. Or like you can give away a one-on-one piece of merch or something like that, you know? Like Paulina, like my girlfriend, gave away lifetime VIP passes to her shows, which people have already been using.
That's sick.
Yeah, so things like that. So you can give them incentives.
So you're adding value and attaching it to the song.
Yeah, so it's not just like a photo. What's really going on is these people who are fans who have the ability to support your music, like they have the financial ability to do that, adding value to your music. We're really undervalued.
Absolutely.
We're not like, for example, there could be a painter who could get X amount of money for their art and it's valued, you know what I mean? We get nothing. Like we don't get any, we really have to rely on shows, paycheck to paycheck. We don't get anything from Spotify, like next to nothing. You have to split that with a label.
Yeah.
And now you can go into this NFT world where you can hone in on it's not for everyone, but you can hone in on those super fans who are willing to support you and buy your music, and they could then resell it or whatever, or just have it for bragging rights. But they're willing to say, look, I really like your music. I'm going to give you this money and you can do whatever you want with that money.
I really like the idea of the additional things, like I always think of an NFT as like an object that you can attach a function to.
Yeah.
So it's like, sell your music, but then, you also get in the real world actual tickets, or sell the music. And then when I put this on Spotify, like you said, you share in my winning. You can see how fuck all Spotify.
Yeah, right. Right. There is actually a platform that does that. Blau, 3LAU, that guy.
Yeah.
He has a platform called Royal, and that's based on royalties. So you will buy, he might only do a drop of like 50 or something, but he's made millions already from this, and you will get a 10% royalty cut from his song. Little do they know that song's going to make fuck all. But yeah, like you said, they'll see that soon. And then, that's the catalog, for example, is what I mint on, and they are like one of ones. So there's only one of them. But something you mentioned before is sound, which is I'll be dropping at the end of this month. So in like a couple of weeks. And that's usually like more editions and more affordable. So like 25 editions or 50 editions at like 0.1 ETH, which might be a couple of $100. And then the buyers can actually then go and resell that for maybe 5 times the price. So there's like, it's a win-win. They get to support you. They're supporting their favorite artists, and they can make money too. So I love the sound one because that's like great for all parties. You can't lose. It's a guaranteed win for the people who get to mint your stuff, like buy originally.
And what's that? What's the website? Sound
XYZ.
Yeah,
it's a new one. They've already generated like $1.3 million for artists in like under 3 months. They don't take a cut. So it's all for the artist. The guy literally just wants artists to succeed. So it's a really supportive community as well. And yeah, that's why I'm pretty heavy in it right now.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm definitely going to look into it. And I think I need to. I've been learning so much about it in the periphery. I really want to dive in some way. We own one NFT, but I think we should. Jonathan and I have a shared crypto account.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something we want to look into. And then
what did you get?
One of John's
Ethereum.
Did you say you got an NFT?
Oh,
yeah, one
I
of
thought you meant
John's.
crypto.
Yeah, one of John's mates.
Yeah, one of my friends, 3 of my friends, did a drop of, I can't even remember what it is now. Dogs, yacht, dog club, Doge club, dog.
It's a similar thing. It's the same
Something like a derivative of.
It's like
Bored Ape.
It's like Bored Ape.
Yeah, but it's like, basically. But it was like pretty cool. I wanted to support them.
Right.
Plus, it was like a good entry level thing.
Well, that's it. That's it. So that's comes back to it again. It's you're supporting your friends. These artists can support their favorite. These listeners, and they can support their favorite artists. You know what I mean? By buying their music, it's like the same as buying a record. Obviously, it's a bit more expensive, but yeah.
But again, like what you said, you can support. You might be able to buy your favorite. It's like buying a limited edition Nirvana album that no one else has for $500.
It's a great example.
You can listen to the album, but then in 20 years, you can then on-sell that for.
This is a perfect example.
5 times.
They're saying it's the new vinyl, essentially, but like limited vinyl kind of thing, is what like music NFTs are. So it's kind of like that.
But again, with function. So like you could say, I'm selling you the song, but if you ever come to Perth, you get access to my studio. And that means you sell them and ship them a card.
Yeah.
And it says when the smart contract authenticates, you get this card, and whenever you come to Perth, that card gives you access.
See, this is the thing. You don't even need the card. It's all in the smart contract. That's what the good thing about it. You don't need any physical thing. It's you own the NFT there, and it's in the data that says there, you're the owner of this, and included is this studio session.
Yeah.
And there's no way that anyone can forge that because they don't have your wallet. And it can't be replicated. So that's the cool thing about it.
It's a non-fungible token.
So
It's like a key.
yeah.
Exactly. And so this kind of the whole smart contract thing is, I think the most exciting thing about any of the NFTs. People were like, isn't it just a copy of art? It's like, no, you're missing the fucking point. You're like, you can add anything to it.
I would say there is a slight pyramid scheme
Big time.
element to it. The idea of being like,
crypto's a pyramid scheme.
I'm going to buy something for $5, but I'm going to then on-sell it to someone for $10, and that person will on-sell it to someone and continue on.
It's like buying sneakers, though. You buy sneakers that can be resold for 10 times the value.
Exactly.
But another cool thing is on Sound recently, and they've just brought this new feature in. You know, are you familiar with Selection?
Yep.
Selection, right. So Selection, they do Selection Radio, which is like an hour-long mix, and they minted... Sorry, this is making me a bit burpy. They minted the radio, Selection Radio as an hour-long mix just with like 10 selection artists, and they introduced this new royalty system into Sound. So all 10 artists, however many songs they had on there is what the kind of percentage they would get, and instantly paid out into their wallets. So like when that thing got minted, they did 100 ETH, and that instantly got divided to those 10 people, and along with Joe K as well. Instant, like thousands of dollars to these artists. No messing around, no wait. For example, when you have a song on a label, you'll get paid those royalties 6 months to a year later.
Yeah.
And that's not...
Instant royalties. This was instant. Yeah. And they'll get, there's the secondary sales as well. For example, I bought one of these and resold it for like, 4 times the value. They get 10% of that sale. That goes straight back into these artists.
And do they just wake up one morning and go, oh fuck, I've got an extra 1 ETH in my wallet?
And this happened to me. There was one called Pixel Bands, which Wookie created. It's on Solana, so it's not on the Ethereum network. So I submitted 4 stems, and the way this one worked is there was like 30 artists that submitted. There was 4,444 NFTs, and each NFT was a band player, and it had a different instrument playing and a stem. And you could collect 4 minted bands. So you could collect them. But every sale, I get 50% of each sale that has my stem on there. So I woke up one morning and there was $2,000 US in there.
Whoa.
And I still get royalties from that. I'll wake up one day and there'll be a bit more money in there, because every time that gets resold, whether that gets resold for, I get the creator share.
How do you join that one?
Well, I can hook you guys up with that one as well.
Because
let's have a discussion.
Because that one's...
Don't talk about it on the podcast, Jaden. We don't want everyone to win.
We can talk... No, because the next one they're doing is an EDM band one.
Oh, sick.
So there's 4 stems, drums, bass, keys, and something else.
Nice.
But real easy. They just give you a key and a BPM to write in. You give them 4 stems, and then when they launch, you'll make some money.
That's great. I just think it's new and exciting, and I think it's so cool. Like, it's only a matter of time before the whole of Spotify and royalties and everything through record labels goes to
it's funny because
run on the blockchain.
Spotify have hit up Sound, and he just ignored him. He gets hit up by everyone. He was just like, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah, fuck him,
talk
man.
to me.
Because guess what? That was the old model.
Yeah.
And it's just like Facebook is dying. Spotify will come to a point where Spotify will be fucking a CD store. And it is. It's great to have your music and on there, and it's great to have access to everything. But there is there's going to be something new that comes along every single time.
True.
And like what you said about the pyramid scheme, to some degree, it is. But everything's a pyramid scheme until the pyramid gets flat enough that it just looks like a fucking big hill scheme.
True.
Because like the internet, when it first started, people were like, this is fucking fantastic. I'm going to start some fucking crazy thing. And that's what led to the dot-com boom, and everything fell apart. But the internet itself didn't go away.
Right.
It just meant you couldn't sell, people were doing ridiculous shit, and also companies were being massively overvalued. But that'll probably happen at some point with cryptocurrency, and also, there's lots of NFTs that aren't very good, and all sorts of things.
They say that 99% of NFTs will go to zero. 99%. That's what they say. They're ones without utility.
Yeah.
Mostly. So like Bored Apes obviously never going to go to zero. These sound ones will never go to zero.
Yeah.
But you just need a use for them.
Yeah.
And you find the utility for them, and that will, you're saying Pauline sold one the other week, and someone's got backstage entry
Right.
for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
If she
Not backstage entry. It's a backstage pass to one of their shows. Backstage entry sounds a bit risky.
That's my girlfriend, bro. Fuck. It's
Jesus. Get out of the gutter.
it's true. Like then people, when she did it, she was thinking like, no one will probably even use this, but people have used it.
Yeah.
So
They
sad.
just have to DM her, and it's first in best dress. So I think she can do 2 or 3
Yeah.
per show. And people, they just have to DM her, show proof they own their fucking NFT, and then
in
get
20
them backstage.
in 20 years, if she becomes Shania Twain-esque
Yeah,
level of pop star,
Yeah.
I don't know why Shania Twain was in my head. But if she becomes like
That's
that,
a low bar to go for.
then
probably, no.
suddenly the backstage pass is worth
exactly right.
it's like
Yeah.
$50,000.
Yeah, so
And
you look
that's
at Snoop's drop, what he just did, and it's just gone nuts, which is like what you can invest in. You can invest in these artists that could potentially just be skyrocketing. Imagine your favorite artist, like you get to buy one of these NFTs, you're supporting them, you can make money, but you get this backstage pass. That's so worth it. You might pay like, $500 over the course of a year or two to go see their shows anyway.
Yeah.
And you can buy their NFT for like $200, get to support them, you can make money, and you get free access to the shows backstage.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty big win.
And and for the artist, it's like some people might say, well, you're losing someone that's going to buy tickets for 4 shows, but no.
You don't get that money anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting fuck all of that
Yeah.
money. You're making more money there. Plus, you're going to have someone else to replace that ticket
Exactly.
buyer anyway.
Yeah.
You're creating a true fan as well. And
Exactly.
That's what you want, man. That's like I'm a true fan of all sorts of things. I'm like, fuck, I can't wait for the next Wes Anderson movie. I was like, I really am looking forward to what Denis Villeneuve's doing in the movie space or music. I'm like, I want to see what Fred Again's doing or Tourist or something like that or Bonobo or Subfocus. So you've got you're a fan of these things and you want to be part of what they're doing. So if someone came out and goes, we're doing an NFT, it's this, you're like, ooh, that gives me access to this person.
Right.
And everyone wants access, special access.
It's a great example. And that's what the person who's bought 2 of mine, Cooper, he's like a massive advocate in the space. And that's in one of his interviews, he goes on about that. He's like, you're getting direct. The way he sees it as a collector is he gets a direct relationship with that artist now. He's bought their NFT and then they can become friends and just talk about things. And that's a connection you never would have had otherwise.
That's so cool.
And that's not saying you have to splash a few $1,000s in an NFT, but if there's
It
a drop like
helps.
Sound, which is affordable,
Yeah.
you can have like a lifelong relationship with this artist that you like really look up to and have been into for a long time. And you get to support them and also be able to make money too. So it's pretty cool.
We recently had a student who was building a game. I won't say his name or anything. Wait for him to reveal his stuff. But he's doing really cool work. And instantly, as soon as I heard some of the music he was writing for the game and saw the concept, and I was like, I want to give you money.
Right.
How can I invest? And he's like, we'll probably do a Kickstarter, but it's not to have ownership. It's just to
It's like
finance the game.
and to finance them
and
while they build it.
Yeah, and I'm like, fuck, man, I think your idea is really solid. This is really cool. It's really exciting, and it just made me go like, ooh. And I think the world needs more of that excitement.
Yeah. That's how Sound started, actually. It was an idea, and he was in that Friends of Benefit group. This is how he started. That one that I was saying, my second one got bought with that token, right? So he was in this group, which is just a bunch of people like that with ideas, and there's people who have created these massive platforms and stuff, and he went to like a venture capitalist, a bunch of those people, did like a seed investment thing, and I'm getting like 5 million, and then created this platform. And now he's already generated like 1.3 million for artists in the space of 3 months, and he doesn't take a cut. There's people with these ideas, they just need a bit of backing. But yeah, it all starts somewhere.
But for everyone with one of those ideas, there's someone that's building a real pyramid as
Crypto.
well.
Yeah.
How is Dogecoin going?
Don't know.
Do you guys have Doge?
I got a bit of Doge, a bit of XRP.
Did you get in early?
No.
You,
Bit of.
you bought the hype?
Oh man, I bought
I've done that many times.
the best crypto
Flip.
choice I made was when a friend just goes like, "Oh, you should get this."
Yeah.
At random moments, and I didn't look that much into it. Any of the crypto I've bought has always just been talking to a couple of mates. They're like, "Yeah, you should do it."
Right.
And it goes up, it goes down.
It's not a good way to invest. You shouldn't be doing that. That's because you got to do your own research, and
again,
you're putting your money down on things.
So when it started, Jeff and
I used to do that.
Jeff and I talked about it, and we're like, we don't have a fuckload of money to invest in it. This is risky, but we wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
Like we knew that it would be a good idea to get something.
Massively,
So
yeah.
I think we spent like
I think our investments,
£500.
No, our investments are mostly Ethereum.
Yeah.
Because I was learning a bit about that, and I was like, this is one that has a solid base. This is going somewhere.
It wasn't a hype coin.
No.
I mean, they're the ones to stay away from. But like, I used to do that and just listen to what people would tell me. My brothers, and my whole family's in it, so I would listen to all them, and I would sometimes get some wins, but a lot of the times it just wouldn't go anywhere, and that's because I wasn't doing my own research, and now I do that, and I've had a lot more success. The way that it's all going is metaverse. All these tokens like Sandbox, Decentraland, all these. That's the way they're going to be like the 100x coins kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because they have a function. They're not just shit coins like Doge or SHIB or something like that. They actually, they're play to earn tokens. Like you'll play these games, and this is the way things are moving too. You'll play to earn. So you'll like play and earn, I guess. Like you'll be playing, like Activision just bought what did they buy? They bought something in the, or someone just bought Activision or something like that.
The guys that make Blizzard just bought, or Activision just bought Blizzard, I think.
Yeah, it was something for like a $1 billion thing.
Yeah.
It was something that just happened, but
$69 billion.
right. So you'll be able to play your games, like for example COD or whatever, and you'll be making money. You'll be making crypto while playing. So investing in these, like for example Doge. Imagine it's that in the metaverse and has a function. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Polyplex or
Polygon?
No, Polygon by Shock One. Poly something. There's a game that's really popular in Asia, and it is pay to create coins, and like people are going nuts for it, and it's like a role playing game with extra additional things, and that's like you said, that's
this is the way things are going, and this is the hype this year. I mean, I just invested in one called Worlds. And it's called NFT World. So you could buy NFT lands. It's like 20,000 blocks of land you can buy that all have different attributes. They also have a coin, and I've just invested in the coin. Now, the way the game works is it's run through Minecraft. So you can play it on PlayStation, Xbox, but it's like has its own server, and you can go in these worlds and create, and then people can come into your worlds and play and earn money, earn the world token. It's crazy. Like it's its own whole little like world.
Man, I reckon we've got to do something with this kind of thing so we can tell our nephews and stuff
To play 24 hours a day and earn your uncle some fucking money.
They're saying like
we are part of it, man.
We're in the stage right now. They're saying like of this whole metaverse thing, Bitcoin at $10 is what they're saying. So we're like dead early. We are at the very start of this boom.
Oh, but and the funny thing is that like no one knows really where it's going. Like our extrapolation of the metaverse is like pretending it's like it's a really, really good virtual reality thing. But no one picked NFTs, which is functionality attached to art. Which is the coolest.
No one picked the internet.
Yeah.
Being what the internet is. When the internet first came out, people would laugh at it and be like, huh.
It's just to connect research hubs and universities and military bases, and someone starts selling fucking porno, and it's like, oh my god!
It turns into something else, like something no one knew. I think
jack off in here.
Yeah,
I think it's amazing that no one came up with the iPhone before they came up with the iPhone.
Right.
Because you think about it now, in Star Trek and in sci-fi movies, they always had like a pad or something like that.
But they did. That's the crazy thing. Like Apple and Nokia and I think Microsoft all tried to do a pad, a tablet and stuff like that. Apple definitely did one in the 90s. What held us back was processing power.
Yeah, the technology.
It's like because you like think like they're in like 1994 or something, sitting there doing like a cool touchscreen thing, but you're 16. There's no way you were even getting 32 fucking meg of RAM in this thing.
Yeah, but the point being like you don't. We think we know of our knowledge of technology. That's It's an interesting sentence. We think we know where it's going, and we go, oh, it'll be like the metaverse because it'll be like virtual reality where we live. But that's like a layman's idea of what it's going to be in 10 years. It could be completely different.
The example I heard that I think always illustrates it for me is like someone showing you an iPhone and then getting excited about how you can use it to browse the internet while you're not near a computer and how you have a map on it and you're going, this is sick. But then someone comes along and goes, what about Uber? And you go, what?
Yeah.
But that's a functionality of the iPhone. That's a functionality of the smartphone. Uber Eats, even to some degree like Airbnb, because it allowed you had access to all of your information on this thing. You were allowed to, it revolutionized so much stuff. But if you only saw it as like, it's a mini computer in your hands, then you're only seeing like one pixel out of a giant load of pixels. Do we want to say anything about the song? Anything else about the song?
We can talk about Indy.
Yeah.
We spoke about Indy.
Yeah, talk
we
about
haven't talked
Indy.
about
We got to where we kind of the writing of the instrumental, I guess. But
Yeah,
Indy.
Indy.
So we knew we wanted a singer. We knew it needed that.
Yeah.
I had a show in Auckland, and I was actually on the way to the airport with the promoter from the show, and he was asking me what I've got coming up, and I was just telling him, and I was like, I got this like halftime D&B kind of thing with Ekko and Sidetrack, and I didn't play it to him, but I said I was looking for a vocalist, and I was like, I wouldn't actually mind like working with some singers from New Zealand, because like I don't know if you guys. I said I spoke on behalf of all three of us, but I said we haven't done that before.
No.
Oh, I was correct. And yeah, he was like, yeah, I've got some people that you probably like. When you land, I'll have a bunch of people for you, some demos.
Sick.
And he had like 4 for me when I landed, and Indy wasn't actually in that 4. Because I remember him saying in the car, actually, there was this one who he was really like hyped on, and he didn't put her in there. And I listened to the 4, and I was like, yeah, these are pretty cool, but like, what about that other girl you mentioned? And he linked me her, and I went on her Spotify, and she had like 40 monthly listeners. Like, and I listened, and I was like, holy fuck! I remember I sent it to you straight away.
Yeah. I was like, this chick's a vibe, man.
She's just so talented.
Yeah.
And yeah, sent her a DM, sent her the tune, and this is the old tune as well. And she was keen. And then she had that first demo back in like a few days, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Insane. We had to get her to re-record.
And then she was affected by COVID because she was.
They had restrictions, so we had to wait a bit for that. So it was out of her control. But what she got back was just so perfect.
Man, and it was so good. The additional second verse.
The second verse, I was just sat there like, this is like a Banks tune. My jaw was just like dropping.
Very little like notes.
No.
I think one of the only notes we said to her was, can you create something for the breakdown? Because previously we'd just been copy and pasting what we had in the drop into the breakdown.
Yeah. That first take she essentially nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, man, getting vocals like that is so
Rare
and so like eases pressure. I remember for Paper Birds, like we sent it to a few people and hadn't had anything, and we sent it to Ruth, and Jeff sent me the demo and was like, here it is.
I was like, have you listened to this yet? And he's like, no. And I'm like, dude, she like, obviously production isn't there and everything like that, but the vibe is instant. Like you're like, oh my gosh.
It's not something you have to like, I am going to massage this vocal from being 60% into 100%. In fact, I don't think if you don't have the reaction that we had with Indy or that we had with Ruth, I don't think the vocal's
pretty hard to polish a turd.
Like, yeah, it just has to be, that demo has to be like instantly.
There has to be something
vibe.
there. Yeah. As long as exactly the vibe's there, you can clean up mess.
Oh, yeah.
The vibe has to be there.
And you can like adjust words, but the vibe and the feeling and the tone has to all be there.
Has to hit.
Yeah.
And that's probably the hardest thing as well, like to give someone a brief but keep things open enough that they don't feel constricted. But then when they send something back, be like, okay, let's try again. We're actually, in the next month, we're going to be at the point where we do send a bunch of quite raw tunes off to vocalists.
Yeah.
Because I think previously we might have been a bit, we might have sent things a bit late.
I think we held back a bit on the songwriting process
Yeah.
and be like, here's a finished song, put vocals to
And
it.
that's really hard. Whereas we'd rather just send someone, I think it was at Bicep talking on tape notes, talking about how they kind of write like very bare bones, like chords and a few bits, and then send it off to vocalists and then get inspired by the vocal. I think that's a way better way to write rather than say, can you work over my tune? You're saying like, come in and let's make the cake together.
There's a certain amount of like, in doing that, there's a certain amount of unwillingness to change your finished tune to fit with someone's vocal.
For sure. And it can be tough for them unless the tune is like really like good for them as well. It's going to be hard for them to write to, whereas if you hold back, they've got more room.
Yeah. And it's going to be a better product as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Rather than like trying to fit into the vibe that you have.
It's probably one of the strongest vocals I've ever received.
Yeah, I think it's great, and it has it's got such a cool energy to it, like a great airy, trancy, ethereal. Yeah, vocal.
I get a real Banks vibe off that breakdown. I don't know if you guys like Banks.
Yep.
I'm just like, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Emotional.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be interesting actually to. It's one of the tunes we'd want to bounce the stems for actually, and be like, who would remix it on Nightmare?
Something we could do on Audius. They do remix comps. And
Absolutely.
Actually something we should look at doing.
Yes,
for
sure. We ask all of our guests, aka Carl.
You're our second. No, sorry, you're not our second guest, but
sorry
to interrupt the podcast.
The guest giving. We're gonna try and ask 3 questions each time. The three questions are, so you can think about them and give yourself a little bit of lead time, is what are you scared of, what makes you laugh, and what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self or 16-year-old self in this case. So let's start with what are you scared of?
That's tough. If I was to, I can give 2 answers to this, I guess. One would be spiders and sharks and deep water and heights, so that kind of thing. Not into. Things happening would be like getting old and having regret would be something I'm scared of. Like I don't want to be 50 and having just regret.
I like how you said old is 50.
No, just like, you know what I mean? Double my age, or just being actually old and past the point of being able to make a change.
Yeah.
So, I would hate that. So I try to do weird, like I'm moving to Bali in 2 weeks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do stuff that you just, it might not work, but you're not going to be 50 and I keep saying 50, but you might be 80 or whatever and regret it. I don't want to live like that. So something I'm scared of.
Yeah, we didn't even ask you about the Bali thing, but maybe we can do a remote podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's creeping up.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Like, I feel like I'm kind of moving to Bali.
I'm looking forward to going to Bali.
They just added some flights today, finally.
Oh, yeah.
Cheap ones. $150 return. Jetstar.
Sick. When?
Starting in April.
Oh, not before Europe. Not before Europe.
Maybe on the way back.
You should become a promoter over there.
In Bali?
Yeah.
What, stood outside of engine room?
No. Pseudo. No, I mean like get someone to put on shows.
Yeah, outside of engine room.
No matter what, you're handing out flyers outside of engine room.
It's funny, this girl I know there, Paloma, she was like, yeah, you should meet my brother. He's involved in music. He does shows and stuff. Let me know if you want to talk over some gigs. And I'm just thinking, where the fuck could I play in Bali?
Yeah. Imagine playing Bounty or like
Sky Garden.
Yeah, oh man, playing at Sky Garden. I played a gig in Bali.
Did ya?
Yeah, for that Paradise in Bali festival.
Oh, sick.
A couple in 2012. Played
ago.
at the venue that it was at was the bar that's on the beach that has a pool and people can bungee jump into the pool.
Oh, not sure. But I don't know, there's like...
And so I swear at like 2 o'clock in the morning, someone rode off the bungee jump on a motocross bike and did the same thing, but with a motocross bike.
Bali.
Yeah. Well, they had that DWP festival there one year, and it was like Porter and all these massive artists. They moved it to Jakarta in 2019. I actually went to that one.
Sick.
But the one in Bali, they used to have that, and it used to be sick. Hopefully they bring it back.
I'm sure it's going to come back. Like the rest of the world, it has to return.
No, I mean it was always been there, but for some reason they moved it to Jakarta. It wasn't COVID related. It was just they decided to
went
move
from Bali
this
to
is just,
Jakarta.
This is just before COVID. I was like in Bali, and it's just before Japan.
Yeah. Oh, sick.
And yeah, they moved it there, which it would have been so much better in Bali, but it was still fun.
How's your Bahasa?
Oh, what?
Bahasa Indonesian.
Terrible.
You'll get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn. Salamat pagi.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I'm gonna have to do some learning.
Holly speaks Bahasa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's quite funny. Like as in, like it's like I'm like that was a funny thing to learn about her. She's like,
Yeah.
she can have maybe not conversational, but she was saying the other day that she's been to Bali like more than 100 times, and I was like, really? And she goes, yeah. When as a kid, then when she was a flight attendant, Sky West used to fly there.
Okay.
She went a bunch, and you'd always stay overnight. And you'd
Yeah,
stay for a
okay.
weekend, and then she speaks Bahasa, and she's got people, and she's like, I can't wait to get in touch with this guy and tell him to pick us up from the airport, and we'll go to this place, and like, shit, I can't wait to go with her.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, essentially someone that's been there a bunch. I've only been there 3 times. What makes you laugh, Jaden?
I laugh really easily. I don't know if that's because I'm nervous all the time or what. But
Oh God,
I laugh a lot.
but that's good.
Yeah.
It keeps you.
My chronic ADD makes you laugh all the time. That was so fun.
It keeps
Yeah.
you. I reckon it keeps you young, but also keeps you like
Yeah.
you know.
It makes you enjoy life. It means you're having fun.
Yeah.
I feel bad when I
Mindful
don't
endorphins.
laugh
Yeah.
a lot, and I notice I'm like I haven't been laughing enough.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything in particular that makes me laugh, but yeah, I do laugh really easily. What makes you guys laugh?
Farts.
Classic.
Yeah, I've got a funny, like, weird sense of humor as well. Like, stuff that probably should make me laugh, you know?
Yeah.
What?
Quite a dark sense of humor.
Yeah, absolutely. Gallows humor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say my humor's too gallows. I think I like absurd. I like almost aggressively absurd, but not so absurd that it's like, I don't know, like I appreciate, Mighty Boosh is a good reference. So I appreciate that Mighty Boosh existed, but I don't think it was the funniest thing on television at the time. I think Garth Marenghi's Dark Place was a far better
Yeah.
version of absurd.
You like Monty Python absurdism,
Yeah, but
not so,
but also like evolved.
but not
I
so
think-
random that it's just like random for random's sake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can get around, like, dark humor, like dark Jimmy Carr where he takes it too far.
Yeah, that's what I mean
Like
by gallows
South
humor.
Park when they go way too far.
Yeah.
in the news
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
hilarious.
I find that shit so fucking
Yeah,
funny.
absolutely.
But then I would just laugh at just normal conversational shit. But actually losing my shit laughing is dark humor.
I think the thing that makes me laugh the most is people in public who like do something strange or make a mistake or like weird interactions between people that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that has just happened, or that person
Yeah, where you just like-
reacted in that way.
Just losing it. Yeah.
Like, oh my, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love
shit's
seeing
funny.
that.
witnessing the real life
Yeah.
movie things.
Man,
I like that shit.
I think it's not one of the hardest I've laughed, but something that's come to mind. I must have been like 16 at the shops with my mum.
Jaden was at a nightclub. You were at the shops with your mum.
I was at Shape handing out a CD with my hour-long mix on it, and you were at the shops with your mum?
having a cigarette as well.
I reckon I was at like, what was that surf course? City Beach.
Yep.
City Beach, Whitfords. Actually, I must have been older. I don't know why I was even with mum. Either way. No, I wasn't with mum. I was with Hannah, one of my girlfriends.
A quick switch.
A quick-
I was 16. I was actually 24
No,
with my
I
ex.
was, yeah.
Because I wouldn't have had this. I don't think I would have been aware enough at 16 to have this thought. But I was standing at City Beach, and two women were standing at the thong section, and one of the women farted really loudly, and there was an attendant with her, and I looked up and I was like, but no one out of the three of them recognized the fart, and it was in the middle of them talking. They were like, "What size have you got?" I think we're going to try the 14s next. And I just started fucking losing it, and found the fact that everyone just ignored it, and the person that farted couldn't even recognize the fact that they farted. Found it so fucking ridiculous.
Holy fuck. Yeah, I like shit like that. It's funny. Like real life shit where you just like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You almost want to be like, and scene. Great take, guys.
And
You
cut.
fucking ridiculous bunch of fucks.
Yeah.
And final question is, what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self? Or 16? Let's go 16 because it's 10 years ago.
But yeah, buy a fuckload of Bitcoin. Let's be real. I don't know. I wouldn't change anything. I'm happy with how life is. I know that if certain things would have changed, then I wouldn't be where I am now.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with, even though I could say like, oh, teach yourself how to do this. Like I'm fine with the way things are going.
And but I mean, not even that things are bad or things you'd want to change things, but what advice? Like, do you think you've made any moments where you're like, I probably could have done that better?
Yeah, I guess that like I wish I would have pulled my head in a bit younger and, you know, eliminated distractions or like more family time, stuff like that. But, you know, I'm doing that stuff now, so I'm fine with like the way my earlier years were, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess I went a little bit wild, had some fun, that's fine.
It's interesting because when I think about that question, I think if an older man came up to me that looked like me and was like, hey, buy Bitcoin and like
You think he's on acid in the city.
like, you should really apply yourself to this. Like,
Yeah.
go into music more. And I'd be like, fuck you fucking idiot.
Fucking drug addict.
Even if you are the future me, like,
Yeah.
you don't know me. Like, fuck this. Like,
Yeah,
you'd still
true.
resist it.
Yeah. Depends. If you rocked up in a Lambo and was like, buy Bitcoin, and be like, fuck, get me some Bitcoin.
I stole this Lamborghini. I really don't have any money because I didn't buy a Bitcoin.
Because I bought Bitcoin at the peak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I think I don't know what advice I'd really give myself.
No, that's great.
Because I think when you ask that question, you're like, what advice would you give yourself to so you could change something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wouldn't change anything.
And because you're right, like, you'd be in a completely different position.
Yeah, I'm happy with
And
my
it
life.
could be worse. Like,
Exactly,
it
yeah.
could be what you might be say like, oh, buy Bitcoin, but then for some reason buying that Bitcoin at that time has suddenly led to. We've all seen the butterfly effect.
Right.
It didn't turn out well for Ashton. It might not turn out well for you. Last question. When did you get your first tattoo?
16.
16. Did you
can
lie
legally-
about your
No, you can legally get a tattoo with parental permission.
Yeah.
I managed to swindle some parental permission. I was like, I'm already out of school. What the fuck? Like, everyone else has got tattoos. Like, yeah, my brother's got tattoos. What the fuck? And then I've actually since had them both lasered off. So that's like halfway through getting lasered. This one had been lasered and blasted over. Worst tattoos I've ever gotten.
Which one was the one on the...
So there's like you can see the faintness
Oh, yeah,
of it
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It was a
yeah.
lighthouse my friend did, who's actually a good tattooist now, but it was his first ever tattoo in a warehouse, like, illegally when I was 16.
Whoa.
Terrible. Got
Yeah.
lasered off. So yeah, I was 16.
Wow. Does it hurt to get it lasered off?
Yes. It's a different kind of pain though. It's like it's very quick because they don't have to sit there and do detail. It's just it targets it's like a frequency thing. It targets a certain color. So they set it to a certain frequency and that will target black. They set it to, so you could run that over your skin. It doesn't do anything until it hits the ink and then it starts zapping. And then it's like a 2-minute so say that something like that size would take 2 minutes. But the pain is like oil spitting off a pan or like an elastic band rubbing on leg hair kind of feeling. You know what I mean? Like a hot burn.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of pain and it
But it's
sucks.
hot.
Yeah, it sucks. But it's quick. But it sucks. So
Because I think tattoos are kind of like being scratched on with a hot pen.
but the weird thing about tattoos is it's so excruciating when it's happening. It's like, oh, fuck. And then as soon as they take it off, the pain's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you get stabbed, that's going to be a pain for a long time.
Yeah.
A tattoo, it's just like, doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I also think
I don't get it.
It's like it's just a pinch. I don't even think it hurts that much.
Well, that's because that's tiny. Then you get something on your a full chest thing. That's
Your chest thing.
completely different pain.
Man, on the back of the legs. That
Terrible.
hurt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's
that- I was
completely
like,
that is the easiest place
yeah.
to get tattooed. Is there?
Yeah.
But there is some really really bad spots. Back of your head, don't recommend it.
Yeah. All the places that don't touch other things
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think
in every day.
someone told me that it's the spot. It's part of it is where the nerves are most tightly grouped. So you're feeling it's hitting a lot of nerve endings.
Right.
Whereas there are certain spots on your body where there's like less nerves per square meter, so there's less nerves getting affected.
Different sides of your body as well, more sensitive. Like my right side hurts a lot more. A lot of people have that as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, way more painful than my left side. So, yeah, I've never really understood that.
And you never will. And that's a great way to end the podcast. You've been a great guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Fun, my first podcast.
Educating us and talking about all the things.
You're going to lose all of your listeners. You're like, son of a fuckhead talking about NFTs.
Nah,
I think we're going to gain listeners.
Gain listeners, yeah, because people want to learn and people want to hear the music as well. And do you reckon you'll travel back here a little bit from Bali?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, sick.
My plan is Bali, then the States, Japan, and then I'll be coming back here to do the US visa bits and hopefully play some shows.
Sick. That's a great little loop. We'll maybe we'll have you back on.
Yeah, we'll have to do a post under bright lights.
Yeah. And you'll be hell tan. Like, because you live in Bali, you'd just be like a deep
slim
oak.
chance.
Hey. Just like with oil on you.
I'm going to come back more pale. There's no way I'm getting a tan.
Give it a go.
I'll try.
Okay. Thank you, Jaden.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. We are Ekko and Sidetrack on all social media. We've recently updated our YouTube. Go and give that a subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the latest video podcasts. And follow us on Spotify too so you can keep up to date with all our latest music releases. Big up.